Okay, so thank you everyone for joining this online talk. My name is Dr. Ascari. I am the head of division of criminology, policing and sociology programs here at the University of Huddersfield. And I'm joined today with Gabriella Holt, who's one of our fantastic PhD students, but also studied with us on one of our sociology programs, but also studied on, would have experienced a number of criminology programs as well in her time today, to date with us. Gabriella also does a little bit of teaching as well now, so she's seen both sides of the curtain. And our conversation today really is to talk about what it's like to be a student here on our courses. So before we talk, we get into the questions that I've got for you, Gabriella. The courses that we do offer here at Huddersfield within the Division of Crime, Policing and Society, the ones that we have on the screen. So we offer 4 in the area of crime and policing and 3 in the area of sociology, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a series of questions, I believe, Gabriella. Am I right? Did you study sociology with criminology? What course
Yeah,
did you?
yeah,
so you
I
studied...
did the double honours, yeah.
Okay, so you've got a really interesting perspective. We don't have any students here to ask questions, but one of the goals of our talks is to inspire students to want to study sociology. We've just had a talk from Professor Phil Brown about the housing crisis and how this is so important that we need students to study these. But why did you want to study sociology at university?
For me, I think I looked at psychology quite intensely initially, and I looked at criminology on its own. And then when I found sociology, it kind of answered a lot of questions that I had, because I wanted to be able to study issues that affected people. And in a lot of ways, psychology obviously covers people, but then more of the internal and like cognitive pathways of people. Whereas I wanted a more social understanding of people, why we move the way we move, and why social factors affect us, instead of more cognitive issues. And so the kind of blend of sociology and then criminology, giving it half of a focus, I suppose, onto why crime is committed, but looking at that with a sociology perspective as well. So how does our society affect and have an influence on criminal behaviour and crime prevention and all of those issues? So that's why I chose sociology, because I wanted that societal overall perspective.
That's really interesting. I think that particularly whenever I look at applications, or when we see students' applications, we get students applying within our university internally to sociology, and then they've also got an application in for psychology as well. And I think you've just given a useful explanation of how they differed for you and the key different parts. And I think that'll be really helpful to some students to understand the differences, because social sciences and psychology is included in that. We have there's lots of similarities, but there are some quite stark differences, and you get this sort of macro perspective on a sociology degree, i.e. from society, as opposed to a micro perspective and looking sort of internally as it does within psychology. So that's really interesting. And why did you decide to come and study here at Huddersfield?
So I'm originally from the south, so kind of southwest area. So Huddersfield wasn't one of the first universities that I looked at. It was one of the last universities that I looked at. And I came through clearing because I had a last minute decision to come to university. So I was kind of looking mostly online, and whilst I had visited quite a few universities and understood kind of the key aspects that I wanted, such as a campus university, a slightly smaller feel, because I didn't want to feel like just another number in a class of 70 million people, which I did feel at some of the other universities that I visited down south. And when I looked online and saw the module options and the course structure and the fact that this was a sociology course, which was a BSc, which some sociology courses were at the time BA courses as well, it was important that I had that scientific background to it for me, with the transferable skills that you get from a degree and looking for future employment, and possibly as I've gone on now to future study, having the research skills and the background of science was important. So that's kind of why I chose Huddersfield, because it had that campus feel. It was slightly smaller, but still really kind of a lot of options within the school. And then it had the scientific background that I wanted in it. And it also has, in the second year, the option to do, well, not the option to do, but it's a core module to do a work experience module. And that meant that I didn't have to have a year out or a term out, but I could still get work experience whilst at university. And that was built into the course. So I was really impressed by that. So that's why I came to Huddersfield.
Thank you. That's interesting. It's interesting to know as well that that your journey was it was sort of a bit more last minute, which I'm sure some students it will help them maybe relax them a little bit with the students perhaps not knowing what they want to do. It's never really too last minute in some respects, as long as you apply before the very last cut-off points. So yeah, so that's interesting, and Huddersfield is very different from down south. I'm sure where you're from, where people may be watching from. Our university, I would say, we have quite a lot of students, but within our area, we're a sort of medium university. In our social sciences, particularly in sociology, you're definitely a name, not a number, within pretty much all of our degrees, which is something that the university really pushes. And what's been your favourite module? Like, so you used to study sociology and criminology. What's been the most fascinating thing that you've studied throughout your time here when you were an undergraduate student?
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a few that I enjoyed, because I feel like I picked the right topics in terms of what I wanted to do. So nearly everything was kind of relevant. I would say that first year, because it covers more of what you do on the A level, I kind of thought maybe I wasn't going to get as much from it, or um, but it goes into that further depth. So a lot of the core modules I did in the first 2 years, so things like sociological imagination and learning about how we conceptualize society. So, that we have a front facing and a rear facing, and how we perceive other people within society. That's kind of taught me a lot, and it's changed my perspectives quite a lot. So I found that one really interesting. And then some of the more specific modules, such as culture and society, learning more about different cultures within our society. So things like people who believe in vampires or goths, or um, just different subcultures that you don't often come across, you don't often get to look at. And it's not something that I even knew about before I started looking into sociology. So those are probably my two most interesting ones in the first couple of years.
Yeah, and I've not heard of some of those things, so that they do sound interesting. So yeah, and so obviously you moved here. So did you live in student accommodation when you lived here?
I did both. I lived in student accommodation for the first few months whilst I was waiting for a private rental to happen in the local area. So I've kind of had an experience of both. And um, commuting in and living in halls, I think, is a big debate when you're coming to university. But for me, at Huddersfield, it didn't really matter, because it is a campus uni. Everything revolves around being on campus, and the freshers' activities are on campus anyway. So as long as you can get to campus, you can engage in everything. And the online library is like fantastic. It's better than any of my friends that I know at other universities. They kind of have more trouble than I do accessing resources. So whether you're on campus in halls or not, I think you get a really good experience at Huddersfield.
Yeah, so you've seen both sides of it, which is really interesting. I guess our community here at Huddersfield is slightly different from other universities where I've worked as well, where there's more of an even split between those commuting here and those living in accommodation. So there's something for everyone, I guess, and lots of like-minded people doing the same sort of routines, which is nice. So what advice would you give somebody who's thinking about studying sociology? Or studying at this, yes, about studying sociology, I guess. What advice would you give them, Gabriella?
I don't even know. I think I asked this question at an open day at some point, and I think the person said something about like taking every opportunity and making sure that you get the most out of your course. And it's kind of hard to describe what that really means, but I think what it really means is that you can either float through university and pass your modules and get your grades, or you can become a part of the university experience where you get involved with societies or representing different sections of the student community, getting involved with the process of being at university. And that can kind of add to your CV, and you can have the opportunity to peer mentor as you get through university. I really enjoyed that process. I was able to help other students, and kind of just by take every opportunity, I think we mean take every chance that you get to improve your CV, take every opportunity through the school, because at School of Human and Health Sciences has a lot of different avenues for you to experience that. And I've taken them, and it's definitely improved my CV and enabled me to go on to further study and have a CV that I really didn't have much of when I came to university. So I think that's my advice, is to take every opportunity, but meaning to actually get involved in more than just the academic side of things, get involved in kind of getting to know your peers and how you can apply that to your future. And sociology in particular, I mean, a lot of it focuses on society. So any way you can get out into society, whether that's volunteering in the area or just being involved in the community, which Huddersfield has quite an active community because it is a really large town. So it means that there's lots of opportunities for you to get involved. So that's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, and I guess that's really good advice. And I think that your story is maybe different to some of your peers. We really do value employability. We're on all of the programs that are on screen here. So every student who joins us, they are enrolled on a Global Professional Award, which is an additional qualification run by the Chartered Management Institute. Which is something we try to give our students to help them stand out. So it's something that employers look for as an additional qualification alongside a degree, and all of our students on these courses undertake work experience as part of their second year. So we're trying to make people employable. In your case, Gabriella, you stayed on at university, and you're now, towards the final stages of a PhD. So did you imagine doing a PhD when you were, at A-level college?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always planned on doing a master's, but I mean, it was all dependent on how I got on at university, and clearly I must have gotten on well because I'm still here. But I think that when I thought about my employability coming out of my undergrad, there were multiple options through Huddersfield, whether I wanted to continue on a master's, whether I was going straight to the PhD, or whether I wanted to go out and get a job. And I did feel ready to do all of those things by the time I'd finished my degree. And I've had friends that were on the same course as me who've gone into teaching sociology themselves at colleges at sixth forms and being accepted into the police force, detective courses and things like that. So, and also social work and working with people in the community who perhaps need help and support as well. So it's been a really big plethora of jobs that are available to you. And I think that sociology and criminology courses are both very employable people because the transferable skills that you come out with are kind of they're broad. You can do anything working at that higher level, which is what you've proven by completing a degree. So yeah, I didn't expect to get there, but I am here. So
And that's really nice to hear. And I think you've given some other great advice there about other possible career options. I guess on any course, wherever you study, a social science degree gives you lots of transferable skills. And whether that's further study or some of the areas that Gabriella just mentioned, that's all universities, us in particular, have a commitment to getting you to where you want to be and to helping you decide as well, because that's half of the battle. But thank you very much, Gabriella, for your insights. I don't know whether Joanne, who's listening live, whether you have any particular questions that your students often ask you. If you do, you can pop them in the chat, and Gabriella may be able to answer that as a current sociology student. But if you enjoyed hearing about Gabriella's experience and about careers in sociology, we do have some further talks about that in particular coming up. And we also have our student story TikTok page, which are some current students who TikTok about their experience here at Huddersfield I think they're on different courses within our division. I think they may be on criminology courses and one may be on criminology with sociology, but they try to give you an insight into what it's really like to be on campus and study. So if you are interested in that, you can follow the QR code, and there's a link within the chat. You can pause the video if you're watching and scan that. We have lots of open events, so if anybody's watching this and would like to attend and hear more about our programs, you can book onto an open event, an open day, where you can come and see our fantastic campus and hear more about each degree course individually. And in terms of our online talks, we have a series of many online talks that are running several times a month. Our next one is another sociological talk, which is the sort of the sociology of the unborn. But we have lots of other talks within criminology, within policing. We have staff here who have worked on lots of serious crime cases in the UK, some very notable ones, who will talk about policing. We have staff who work within the police as well, who will be delivering sessions. But if you have a look, if you scan the QR code, it will take you to our full list of online talks, and we encourage you to sign up to receive the link to watch them. Head to our YouTube channel, where they're all stored, and they can be used as teaching materials for within your classrooms. But really, they're meant to inspire students to want to study the social sciences courses, as that we have lots of problems in the UK that we need to address, and we need 16 and 18-year-olds to go on social science courses to address these. And if you would like a bespoke session, these are just very short taster sessions online, but we do have a real push to deliver as much outreach to schools who would like it, because we think it's very important and work that we should be doing. So if you would like mini lectures, if you would like some interactive sessions around any topics that you would like support with, or your students are interested in within your syllabuses, please get in touch with Lindsay Brooks, who's our outreach coordinator, and who can set them up. We can offer online talks, we can come out to your schools and colleges, and we can also host you here on campus for a session, a day, whatever it is that you would like. So if you would like something more bespoke, please do get in touch with Lindsay. But other than that, the contact details are on here. My contact email is on here, Lindsay's email is on here, and if you have any questions at all about Huddersfield or studying any of these courses, please do get in touch with us. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And that's it. Thank you very much.